With my Woodworking for Mere Mortals approach to woodworking, the most common method for joining two boards together is with a rabbet joint. Rabbets are strong, easy to make, and are a simple way to align boards and to square up an assembly. They're great for boxes, cabinets. They're pretty much my go-to method for building drawers or anything else. This video is part of my Essential Shop Jigs series. If you'd like to see them all and download free plans, head over to myshopjigs.com. One way to cut a rabbet on the end of a board is to measure the distance from your rip fence to the left side of the table saw blade at the width you need the rabbet to be. Then, using your miter gauge, just nibble away all that material until the shoulder of the rabbet stops against the fence. This is a pretty good technique. I use it all the time. But if you need to cut a rabbet along the long edge of a board, you won't be able to use a miter gauge. So one way to do this would be to make multiple passes, moving the rip fence over after each pass. This is a time-consuming process, kind of clumsy and not very efficient, especially if you need to cut multiple boards. A better method is to use a stack of dado blades to cut the rabbet in a single pass. Here you can just set up your rip fence and not have to move it. There are a couple of problems with this though. First, since the blades are not near the fence, it can be more difficult to keep your workpiece pressed against the fence while maintaining downward pressure above the blades. This can result in an uneven thickness of the rabbet if the board rises up and down a little bit through the cut. And second, if you need to cut the same sized rabbet on different width boards, you're going to have to adjust that rip fence for each one, which could result in inconsistencies. So the best option is to cut the rabbets with the dado stack on the fence side. Obviously, the problem here is that the blades will cut into your rip fence, a problem that you can see happened to me once or twice before because I was just too lazy to set up a sacrificial fence. A sacrificial fence is simply a board that you can embed the blades into. There's lots of ways to make some really fancy ones that saddle your rip fence. Some even have T-tracks built into them, but really you just need a scrap of plywood. The only problem is how to attach it to the rip fence. You could simply clamp it on, but most clamps will probably get in the way of your workpiece or push sticks or your push block. So this is actually one of the few times when I actually recommend buying a specific tool. These are called rip fence clamps, and you can pick up a pair for just a little over 10 bucks. It's well worth it. I'll include a link down in the description. These are from Rockler. They cost a lot more, and I don't think that they're any better. So just save the money and get the cheaper set. To use these, just drill a couple of holes into the edge of a plywood board. The clamps drop in place and then you just clamp it to your fence. Then turn the saw on and raise the blade to the depth you want to make your rabbet. It'll cut into that sacrificial fence, making kind of a zero clearance. Now you can cut all the rabbets you need exactly the same regardless of the board's width, as well as cut rabbets on the ends without having to reset or adjust anything. The only addition you might want to add is a tall fence for attaching a feather board. You can just screw this into place on the sacrificial fence. The feather board will keep constant downward pressure on the workpiece, resulting in an even cut. You'll need 2 push sticks with this method. In my case, I use these gripper push blocks that maintain even pressure, so I don't usually use a tall fence. Plus, a feather board would just get in the way. Don't forget to head over to myshopjigs.com to see all the videos in this series and download free plans. I'll see you guys later.